Okay, we're gonna go ahead and start. The work sessions first. Item number 1 is clarification of the final fiscal year 2024 budget amendment. Okay. What I want to do is, some people didn't take it exactly the way I think you meant it last meeting.
Okay.
Most of the entities that this commission board is in charge of finished under budget or near budget. There's one or two. Administration went over $5 million, but we bought $6.5 million worth of land. So that covers that. Elections went over, but that's because you had extra elections.
Okay.
And the state mandated us buying some equipment that we didn't budget for. Tax assessor went over a little bit, but they had new people. We had to train those people. Instead of one field appraiser, now we have 3. And we had to send all 3 of them to training. Government buildings went over, but we purchased 11 vehicles, switches, and wireless upgrade for the computers. That money come out of CARES, that'll be a wash. So actually, it went under budget or real close. And it goes on down. Most of the entities that the county is in charge of, that this Board of Commissioners oversee, is under budget or near budget. Public safety went over, but, you know, that doesn't matter. That's something that does. Roads went over 844,000, went over 996,000, but we got that extra 844,000 LMIG money. And with the 30% match that we put with that, that took it over. So it's, roads, we're in good shape. You know, we just got more money. And the county is not in bad shape. We have a little over $16 million. We're supposed to have 4 months operating expense. We could operate for almost a year. So the county financially is in better shape than I know that it's ever been in. And this board, since I've been here with this Board of Commissioners, we've dropped the millage every month, every year. So the county is in sound financial shape, and most of the entities of the county are operating within their budget. It's just when, you know, like the court system, they're 180,000 over, but we got a grant for 180,000. And as quick as that grant comes in, then that'll be right too. So it looks bad at this time, but it's not bad. It's just, you might explain it better, Don.
The grant money we got in.
Yeah, come on up.
We received the grant money during this month, so it's already came in, but it'll go back in prior years as a receivable. So a lot of it, so we got $180,000 in. A portion of that belongs to Pope, but it's not like 24,000, so that's 160-something thousand is ours. So that'll go in prior year money. It won't show, you'll see it in cash, but you won't see it in revenue. That's what you're looking at, because if you look at the revenue sheet for July, it's small, because most of that money went back in prior year, because we're on an accrual basis of accounting. So the revenue portion with the cash is where the cash is at.
Yeah. We're in good shape financially, you know. And most of the departments operate within their budget or pretty close. It, at this time of the year, when you're waiting on grants to come in and replace the money that we used out of the general fund or wherever, it looks like it's over, but it's not. Our biggest thing was the 6.5 million we paid for the land. And that entity just went over 5.1 million, even after a $6.5 million check, so you want.
Another clarification I wanted to make is some of the little small funds, after you pass through your budget amendment and you've gone through your general fund, you start seeing small funds like DA's Victim Witness, EIP Fund, Law Library, Sheriff's Forfeiture, Jail Staffing, Mental Health Court. These are either grants, and most of them are reimbursable grants, so we have to spend the money and then the money comes back in. But there's not budgets made for those in the beginning. So you have to, they're not over, it's just that we don't know what we're getting in. You have to create a budget as to what came in and what went back out. And some of these other things, like the chairman said, are things that were approved at different times during the year, but you have to make this budget amendment to make those corrections. So it looks like well, for instance, the roads, it looks like the roads are way over budget, but they're not, because that was approved and the monies came in. But it shows up that way when you're looking at it in a budget amendment, because you're looking at it, it's over here and we're having to add money to roads.
Yeah.
But it's that additional money that came in. So a lot of times on paper, it looks kind of bad, where it's not really, if you're looking at every single little item on there. And when you get a, 10, 12-page budget amendment, it's kind of, I mean, it is very confusing, and it looks like all of us have lost our mind spending money.
A lot of those budget amendments are ones that our district attorney works with, but they get incorporated into our audit. Because it's county funds still. And they don't give a budget at the first of the year because they don't know what they're gonna get. Because most of the time it's victim's witness money and grants.
And 100% of what comes in goes back out. So it's kind of a pass-through on a lot of those funds. But when you start looking at it, I mean, on paper, it kind of looks crazy.
But financially, Haralson County is in good shape. We are in real good shape. Okay, any questions? Okay, juvenile judges' offices. The Superior Court judges have appointed a new juvenile judge, and they need an office, and they need an office for their
Court administrator.
court administrator. The two offices that they had in the past up in the second floor of the courthouse is the sheriff's department has took those over. We need to check and make sure that, well, we've got to have two offices for this judge.
Where have they, were they previously being held in housed in Polk County?
No, they was previously used, these two offices that, I think Court Securities took one of them. Who's took the other one?
I'm not exactly sure of what the two offices are used for. It's sheriff's employees. I think it might be the warrants division. I don't know for sure. I mean, there's two up there. The immediate past juvenile judge didn't have an office here. She got stuck at a table somewhere when she needed one. But the current one has said he will need one here. And the email that was sent to me, the judge said, legally, it's the county board of commissioners' responsibility to designate who gets what
In the courthouse.
offices in the courthouse. Now, I think Avery can answer to that a little more.
That's generally correct, yeah.
How many offices does the sheriff's department currently occupy at the courthouse?
I believe they have 3 up there, and then they have one office, like, area that they use for fingerprinting and stuff in the lobby, the top of the stairs.
And 2 of those 3 would be the juvenile court offices that we were speaking of.
Right. The 2 upstairs across from the, where Judge Murphy's office is currently at, were used for the court offices prior to this.
Well, if the commissioners call for the room and we need the room and it doesn't leave the sheriff without room, does this board wish to ask that he vacate so that the juvenile court judge can have those offices?
That's, maybe he can combine all his into the one downstairs. It's a bigger office downstairs, isn't it?
I'm not terribly familiar with it. I think it is. The one on the probate hall, I think, is a bigger room.
I think it's a pretty good sized office, and maybe he can do all his business there, and we can still have the juvenile use those original offices.
Okay.
Okay. Item number 3 is vendor procedures.
I know you've worked on them and I've read some, can you email those to me or to all of us for review for the next meeting? And is that good with everybody? I think we've all discussed it and agreed, on what we wished it to say, but do y'all wanna read it before we vote on it next month?
Now, Avery, didn't you, haven't you already redone this and sent it to, I thought you did.
Yeah, I thought we,
And I may have a copy of that. I really may have.
I think you sent it to us,
I think you sent it to us, and I don't think any changes have been made to it. I really think you did send us that, finished copy some time ago.
well, if I had.
here it is,
I
right
will.
here, it's
Okay.
in
I
July.
believe he did, but
June
then there
you
was
sent it.
some mention
End
of
of
some
June.
possible changes, and I
Amended
don't know what
vendor
those are.
procedure.
Okay, end of June then.
Yeah,
All right.
that's it right there.
Is everybody good with what we've got?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we'll vote on it next meeting. Okay, item number 4, designation of excess Splash 7 funds, proceeds from sale of land, et cetera, to the government complex.
Sale of land, do we need to say the land's, the 1,600 acre tract and, the 42 acres on Matt Brayer Road? Do we need to call for that specifically? Including but
Probably would.
including but not limited to those 2 tracts of land?
Yeah, now, all the proceeds we get from the 42 acres on McBrayer Road is $750,000 that we've got invested.
Right.
The Development Authority will receive any excess funds that, from the sale of that.
But all of the property, of the 1,600, we need to designate that when the time comes of sales or.
Yeah, that those funds will be kept, earmarked for the government complex. And can we can we ask that item number 4 be done by a supermajority?
I don't think we can do that.
Okay? Strictly majority. Okay?
But you want to designate the excess funds off of SPOS 7 too?
All right, just to clarify for me, you're designating the excess set Splosh 7 funds, proceeds from any of the 1,600 acres, the sale of that, and the 750 that we would get for the 42 acres over in Buchanan. Okay.
It'll be three different.
Will that be three different things, or will it be in one item?
We'll put it in one
Okay.
resolution.
So, should this board decide at some point in time for, if an emergency came up to use monies out of that fund, we could do that by a majority vote?
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay.
All we'd have to do is just make an amendment to it at that time, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
Okay. Any more questions? Item number 5 is aerial apparatus proposal. As y'all are aware of, we received I think it was $934,000 grant to purchase a ladder truck. The chief couldn't be here tonight, but he has got bids. It's gonna cost in the neighborhood of $1.3 million. One bid that he got was $5,000 higher than the other bid, but it was gonna take like 2 years to get that truck. The one that's $5,000 higher, he can have within 12 months. So what I'd like to do is go ahead and, on the meetings, give him the authority to go ahead and put a purchase order on the truck that can be here in 12 months. It'll cost $5,000 more, but it'll be here a year quicker.
Yeah, I was reading, there's some other pluses for that truck as well.
Yeah.
And I'm good with that.
Okay. Anything else you want to add to the work session? Hearing none. We'll go straight into the special call meeting. Ms. Couch, you want to do the invocation, then we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance?
Dear Lord, thank you for this evening. Thank you for letting us enjoy September in Haralson County and for putting us in such a nice place, Lord. We thank you for the elected people, for our employees, for our residents. Lord, we just pray that you help us to do good with the funds you give us and to think of others always. And we ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Make a motion to waive the reading of the previous minutes. All of you had the opportunity to read those.
I make a motion to waive the reading of the previous minutes.
All in favor, show of right hand. Approval of the agenda. You've had an opportunity to look at the agenda. Would you like to add, take anything away? Hearing none, we need a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion to approve the agenda.
Motion second, all in favor, show of right hand. Item number 1 is vendor selection for the 2025 road bids. Northwest Georgia Regional, Northwest Georgia Paving was the low bidder at $2,355,720. It was a contractor that some of the commissioners that were not familiar with. I found out where they were paving. I went and looked at their equipment, looked at the job they were doing, and I am very well satisfied with Northwest Georgia paving.
I'll make a motion to approve Northwest Georgia paving for the, 2025 road bids.
I'll second that motion.
We got a motion and a second. All in favor, show of right hand.
I'm going to abstain from voting due to a potential professional conflict.
I have to abstain also.
3 with 2 abstain.
3 with 2 abstain, motion carries. Okay, the second thing on the agenda is the aerial apparatus selection. I'd like to make the motion that we allow the fire chief to go ahead and issue a PO number on the ladder truck.
I'll second.
Okay, any more discussion? Got a motion and a second, all in favor, show of right hand.
Would you clarify which ladder truck, please? The E1?
E1. The one that we can get in 12 months. Does anybody have anything else? You have anything, Ms. Tara?
Except just, I'm here to just say hello and,
Let me tell everybody first, she is now the economic development person for Haralson County.
yes. So, I plan on reaching out to each of you individually and just chatting, but I do appreciate this board. This is, I told Ryan today, this is probably one of the most proactive commission boards that I've seen in my 21 years here. You all know we have a lot of exciting things going on. I would get with you to kind of talk about that, but I think before Eric left, I made him kind of provide me a spreadsheet, and it looks like right now we have about $4.6 billion worth of investment looking in Haralson County. So that just tells me that we're on the map and folks are looking. I cannot do it by myself. I'm going to be relying heavily on you guys and my boards to make this happen. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, I'm always available. I really appreciate all that you guys do. I tell you, that 1,600 acres in Tallapoosa has been quite the blessing. So a lot of activity. We're busy. We're staying pretty busy. Had a prospect today. So things are going well, and I'm just excited to get to serve in the community that I've called home for 40 years. So thank y'all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tara.
Anything else? We need a motion to adjourn.
Move we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, show of right hand.